review of The Mandalorian, and this one is episode 2. But like before, I would like to take a moment to bring up our sponsor for today's episode, Disney Plus. If I'm not mistaken, once again, Disney Plus is somewhere around $3.99 a month if you get the bundle for 3 months. It's quite confusing, but regardless, Disney Plus has various different types of Disney classics and newer Disney films, and of course, along with the new Star Wars franchise that they have got. Hopefully it'll be something to be very proud of within the coming year at best. I foresee Disney Plus really starting to grow with the new Star Wars licenses that they're bringing up, such as the new Obi-Wan TV show that they have already green-lighted, along with the supposed Darth Maul series, which everyone, or at least Star Wars nerds like myself, are very anticipative of, and the Mandalorian that they do have already going on with Jon Favreau at the head. So yes, Disney Plus should be a fantastic addition to your monthly subscription cycle, because I'm pretty sure all of you have Netflix. Most of you may or may not have Amazon Video Prime. I'm not exactly sure what it's called, but yes, Disney Plus is fantastic and you should give it a go. Right then, now one more shot, my review of The Mandalorian episode 2. Now my first thoughts on The Mandalorian for episode 2 was, how are they going to top the first episode? The first episode was fantastic, particularly on the cinematography of the episode. I thought that was really well done. The second episode starts rather slow-paced, but at the same time it was very cinematic. I've noticed that a lot of these shots within The Mandalorian are very open. When I say open, if you are a Lord of the Rings fan, I want you to think about the open shots that director Peter Jackson took in The Lord of the Rings, where you could see the mountainscapes, and you could see various homes and oceans, and there are no oceans in The Mandalorian currently, at least for the planet that they're on. But regardless, I want you to think about the very wide lens shots that Peter Jackson, Christopher Nolan, Michael Bay, all those three directors have filmed their various films, and that is how The Mandalorian is starting to feel. Like, this is a very open and broad and immersive world that Jon Favreau is trying to create for us as Star Wars fans. And that mantra of open world is definitely, you're able to see it throughout most of the episode, but regardless, the episode continues on the desert planet. For the life of me, I'm very terrible with names. The only reason why I know exactly what I'm talking about in my other series is because I have a script. Yeah, so I know exactly what I'm talking about because everything is written down. But other than that, yeah, I usually have a wee bit hard time with names. So dates, I am fantastic, but names, no, I'm usually quite lost. Anyhow, so the episode does start quite slow, but it is still very immersive. I won't spoil things too much, but let's be honest, everyone knows Baby Yoda is in The Mandalorian. 80 to 90% of the world knows that Baby Yoda exists if they have some sort of technology and Facebook, because those memes are flooding the internet, and it is very annoying, at least for me. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely adore Master Yoda, but partners are just egregious. No pun intended. No pun intended for General Grievous, just in case. Regardless, so the Mandalorian and Baby Yoda are traveling together, and within the first 10 minutes there is a combat sequence, and the cinematography was done very well. This is the first time I would say that we get a hint of Baby Yoda having some type of force sensitivity. Obviously, someone such as Baby Yoda, being of the Yoda race, would have a tremendous force sensitivity. Anyone with half a brain would understand how powerful this child really is. And we get a small hint of that, how possibly powerful this child can be. But it was kind of awkward because we could see that Baby Yoda was about to do something, but the Mandalorian incapacitated the enemies before he could do anything in particular. And there are several scenes where the Mandalorian protects Baby Yoda. And that's a very nice tidbit where the Mandalorian is basically being seen as a father figure. Well, at least from my point of view. He's caressing him, he's fixing his blanket, he's cushioning him inside his little, his bed. Around 15 minutes later, after some dialogue, there's a sequence in which the Mandalorian is injured. Not necessarily injured, but he has a scrape, and this is probably the most adorable scene I have seen. No pun intended, within the Mandalorian so far. Within the scene, the Mandalorian is grunting. He's like, "Oh, I got a cut. Oh dear." That was terrible, but I hope you get the gesture. And he's lightly patting the wound as to disinfect it, I'm assuming. And Baby Yoda is walking very carefully and very slowly towards him, and he puts his hand out towards him, and it's like Baby Yoda has this face like, I'm constipated terribly, or I'm going to have an awful stroke within the next 5 seconds. But you can tell that his intentions were very good, but at the same time, it really looked like he was terribly constipated. And as a Star Wars lore person, I understood that what was going on in this sequence was that Baby Yoda was trying to use the Force to heal the Mandalorian, and very rarely have we ever seen a Force-sensitive child, mind you. Due to the particular species of Yoda, he ages severely slow. I believe Master Yoda died when he was between the ages of 740 to 930 years old. So he was very old when he passed. So one can only imagine how powerful a 50-year-old child can be. And in the story, Baby Yoda is 51 human years old. So that's very interesting. But anyhow, back to the point. When we see Baby Yoda stretch out his arm, we can kind of tell, the audience can kind of get the hint that, at least if you're a Star Wars fan and you kind of understand the lore, you can kind of get the hint that Baby Yoda is trying to use the Force to heal his wound. And as I stated prior, the fact that a child is even question of his own consciousness is laid to rest very early on in the episode. We understand with children that they are merely sponges, they are absorbing all information around them. But with Baby Yoda, it's very different. If you do happen to watch the second episode, we are given several hints here and there about the consciousness of Baby Yoda and how aware he is to all of his surroundings. And it is made very clear that Baby Yoda understands all that is happening around him. So, from my point of view, I find it quite complex when we begin to think about just how old Yoda is. Yes, Baby Yoda is 51 human years old. Yes, I understand that. But in terms of relativity, how old is Baby Yoda in terms of Yoda years? So I did some terrible math and I put Baby Yoda's age in Yoda years at around 13 to 15 months in Yoda time. Mind you, that math was extraordinarily complex, and I'm quite very sure that I had no idea what I was doing. But regardless, the sequence in which we see Baby Yoda trying to heal the Mandalorian is very cute, adorable, and very interesting. Eventually, the Mandalorian puts Baby Yoda to sleep, and the next morning we see the Mandalorian walking towards his ship, and they see Jawas. Yes, the infamous Jawas. And the Jawas are stripping the Mandalorian's ship for parts. Now the Mandalorian shoots off a few rounds and scares the Jawas away, but it's too late. The Jawas have gone away with his parts, and now the Mandalorian is hunting the Jawas to regain his parts, or he will basically be forever stranded on this planet, or worse. Now remember, an important thing to keep in mind is that the Mandalorian is not the only bounty hunter after Baby Yoda. And Baby Yoda has a huge ransom on his head, dead or alive. And that is made clear in the beginning of the first episode when the Mandalorian incapacitates a few mates who were tracking him, and he realizes that they themselves have the same tracker that he used to find Baby Yoda. And with that, the Mandalorian sets off on a journey to reclaim his ship parts so that he may leave the planet. Once he refines the Jawas, he attempts to negotiate with them, and eventually he comes to terms with what the Jawas seek. Once he understands what the Jawas seek, he tries to appropriate the request of the Jawas, and there was a very long action sequence, and then we finally get the Baby Yoda Force reveal. Yes, Baby Yoda uses the Force in all its glory, and then I won't spoil that, but anyhow, eventually the Mandalorian reclaims what the Jawas seek. He gives that item to the Jawas, then he receives his ship parts back. From there, there's a few scenes in which we see the Mandalorian going back to his ship, and then it switches to the Mandalorian beginning to fix his ship with his companion that he met at the mid to end of the first episode when he was looking for the asset, meaning Baby Yoda. By the end of the sequence of scenes in which he's fixing his ship, he gives thanks to the person who helped him through his journey, and then the Mandalorian sets off. And that's it. That basically was the second episode. For the most part, I enjoyed a good 95% of the episode. There were a few questions that just didn't make any sense. And it was the part about the Jawas just wanting this particular item. It was very weird, and it literally had no reason at all to exist in the episode whatsoever. The Mandalorian easily could have just killed all the Jawas and taken back his gear. I felt it was contrived and convoluted in most sense of the matter. But besides that, I really loved the cinematography, as in the first episode. I loved the CGI, it was very well done. I loved Baby Yoda. That's really not saying much, as everyone absolutely adores him. I was very wowed by Baby Yoda actually using the Force. I thought that was fantastic. But that's it. That is my review of the Mandalorian episode 2. I believe it was fantastic. It had a very weird pause plot, if you will, and that was the side plot with the Jawa stealing the Mandalorian's parts. I did think that could have been handled better, but other than that, I absolutely loved the episode, and I'm very thankful to Disney and Jon Favreau for heading the project of The Mandalorian. Regardless, I'd like to thank all of you for tuning in today in my new series called My Review of The Mandalorian. If you liked today's episode, do leave a like. If you disliked it, leave a dislike. If you have something funny or in general